Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to share a story with you that's very close to my heart, a story about family, betrayal, tough choices, and seeking advice. It all started one unannounced evening when my world was turned upside down. Please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment for more inspiring African tales. Your support means the world to me and it helps us continue sharing stories that touch hearts and change lives. Thanks. You know how sometimes you just get that feeling. That little nudge that tells you to do something different. Well, I had one of those feelings. I decided to come home from work early, unannounced, a surprise for my new wife, Bola. The Lagos rain was coming down in sheets, drumming a relentless rhythm on the car roof as I navigated the familiar, pothole-filled streets. My mind was on what kind of dinner Bola might be making, maybe her famous jollof rice. But what I found when I pulled up to my house, that image is burned into my memory forever. Instead of a warm, inviting home, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Huddled under the torrential downpour, by the side of the house, was my mother. My blind mother. She was frail, disoriented, and soaking wet, trembling uncontrollably. It looked like she had been thrown out, abandoned in the storm. My heart seized in my chest. What in the world was going on? I slammed the car door shut and ran towards her, my own clothes getting instantly drenched. "Mama, Mama, what are you doing out here?" I cried, my voice choked with fear and anger. She was shivering, her face etched with confusion and a profound sadness. Just then, the front door of my house opened, and there stood Bola, my wife of less than a year, with a cold, almost defiant look on her face. "What is going on here, Bola?" I demanded, my voice rising. "Why is my mother outside in this rain?" Bola just shrugged, a casual, dismissive gesture that ignited a fire within me. "She was being difficult," she said, as if talking about a stubborn child. I told her to stay inside, but she wouldn't listen. And she kept complaining about the noise from the TV. Difficult. My blind mother, who relied on us for everything. My blood was boiling. I helped Mama up, her small frame feeling even lighter and more vulnerable in my arms. The anger I felt towards Bola was a raging inferno. How could any human being treat an elderly, blind woman, let alone her husband's mother, with such cruelty? There was no discussion, no argument to be had in that moment. My priority was Mama. I gently guided her to my car, carefully settling her into the back seat, wrapping my jacket around her as best I could. Her lips were blue, and she was still trembling violently. The hospital, that was my immediate thought. She needed medical attention, and fast. I glanced back at the house, at Bola still standing in the doorway, her expression unreadable. I didn't say another word to her. I couldn't. The betrayal was too fresh, too raw. I just got into the driver's seat and sped off, leaving my new wife and our supposedly happy home behind, a place that now felt utterly contaminated by her actions. The drive to the hospital was a blur of rain, flashing streetlights, and a terrifying silence from my mother. I kept talking to her, trying to reassure her, but her responses were weak, almost inaudible. At the hospital, the doctors quickly took Mama in. While I waited in the sterile, brightly lit waiting room, pacing back and forth, the full weight of what had happened crashed down on me. I kept replaying Bola's words, her callous shrug. How could the woman I loved, the woman I had promised to spend my life with, be capable of such heartlessness? When the doctor finally came out, he looked serious. "Your mother is suffering from severe hypothermia and shock," he explained. "Her body temperature dropped dangerously low. Given her age and condition, it's quite serious. We're doing everything we can, but it will take time for her to recover." Hearing that, my knees almost buckled. My poor mother. All she had ever done was love me unconditionally, sacrifice for me. And now, because of my choice, because of the woman I brought into our home, she was fighting for her life. The guilt was suffocating. I sat there, head in my hands, feeling utterly helpless and consumed by a grief that was deeper than any I had ever known. While Mama was recovering, slowly, painfully, in the hospital, my mind was made up. There was no going back from this. What Bola had done was unforgivable. It wasn't just a mistake. It was a fundamental cruel streak that I couldn't live with. The trust was shattered, the love poisoned. Our marriage, barely a year old, was over. The next day, still reeling from the events, I called my lawyer. My voice was steady, but my hands trembled as I explained the situation, the details tumbling out in a rush. I want a divorce, I told him, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. Effective immediately. My lawyer, a kind older man named Mr. Adebayo, listened patiently. He didn't interrupt, just let me speak. When I finished, he sighed. This is a serious matter, especially with the circumstances involving your mother. We will proceed, but it won't be easy. Do you have any shared assets? Just the house, I replied, the house that now felt like a tomb. She can have her things, but I want her out of my life. The finality of it hit me then. My dream of a happy family, shattered. Serving Bola with the divorce papers was another painful encounter. I didn't go myself, I sent Mr. Adebayo's associate. But the phone call I received afterwards was enough. Bola was furious, screaming, threatening. How dare you do this to me? She shrieked down the phone, her voice laced with venom. After everything I've done for you, you think you can just throw me out? You threw my mother out, Bola, I said, my voice cold and firm, trying to maintain some semblance of control. That's something I can never forgive. She denied everything. Of course, twisting the narrative, making herself out to be the victim. She fell. She must have stumbled out there on her own. You always put her before me. Her words were like daggers, trying to cut into my resolve, but it was too late. My mind was made up. She continued to live in the house, defiant, refusing to leave easily. The legal process would be long and arduous, I knew, but there was no alternative for me. While the legal battles brewed, my life revolved around Mama's hospital room. It became my second home. I spent countless hours by her bedside, holding her hand, talking to her, reading to her. She was still weak, her recovery slow, but the warmth of her hand in mine, the occasional squeeze, gave me hope. I saw the nurses, the doctors, the cleaners, they all became familiar faces. I learned about medications, vitals, and the quiet rhythm of a hospital ward. It was a stark contrast to the life I had envisioned with Bola. Here, in this sterile environment, surrounded by illness and recovery, I felt a different kind of love, a profound, unwavering filial love that reminded me of what truly mattered. Mama would sometimes whisper, "Are you okay, my son?" Or, "Don't worry about me." Even in her weakened state, her concern was for me. It broke my heart and filled it with fierce determination to make sure she was safe and cared for, always. News travels fast in Lagos, especially news like this. My friends and extended family were shocked. Some were supportive, offering help and comfort. Others were complicated. "Are you sure, my brother?" My auntie Ngozi asked, her voice laced with concern. "Divorce is a big step. Maybe there's a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding, auntie," I replied, my voice firm. "What she did to Mama is unforgivable." My best friend, Emeka, was more direct. "That witch. I knew she was trouble. She never liked your mother." His anger mirrored my own, and it was comforting to have someone who saw things so clearly. But there were whispers too, especially from Bola's side of the family, trying to paint me as the villain, the hasty husband who abandoned his wife. It was hurtful, but I tried to ignore it. My focus was on Mama, and on doing what was right. The external noise was just that, noise. While Mama was still in the hospital, I had to go back to the house to gather some essentials. Walking into it without her, without Mama, felt strange and empty. It was still Bola's domain for now, filled with her things, her scent. I tried to avoid her, but she was there, sitting in the living room, a smirk on her face. "So, the great hero returns," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Come to collect your things. Or perhaps you've come to beg me to take you back." I ignored her, walking straight to our bedroom, now just my bedroom, to pack a small bag. She followed me, relentlessly taunting. "Your mother is a burden. You should have seen how she stumbled around, bumping into things. She's always been a problem." Each word was a fresh stab, but I refused to engage. I just kept packing, my movements deliberate, my face a mask of stone. I grabbed my clothes, some important documents, and left as quickly as I could. The house, once a symbol of my new beginning, was now a monument to a painful ending. I knew I couldn't stay there anymore, not with her. I couldn't stay in the house with Bola, and Mama would need a quiet, safe place to recover fully once she was discharged from the hospital. So, I started looking for a temporary apartment. It was a small, two-bedroom place not too far from the hospital, on the mainland. It wasn't luxurious, but it was clean, quiet, and felt like a sanctuary after the storm. Moving in was a solitary affair. I got some basic furniture, nothing fancy. Just enough to make it comfortable for Mama and me. As I arranged the few things I had, a sense of calm settled over me. This was a fresh start, a clean slate. It was just Mama and me again, like in the old days, but with a new understanding of how precious our bond was. I imagined Mama here, in the brighter, smaller space, safe from harm. The thought brought a small, much-needed smile to my face. This was where we would heal, together. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the doctors gave us the good news: Mama was well enough to be discharged. It was a huge relief, a moment of pure joy amidst the ongoing turmoil. I carefully dressed her in warm clothes, helped her into the wheelchair, and wheeled her out of the hospital, the crisp morning air a welcome change after weeks of recycled hospital air. Bringing her to the new apartment felt like bringing her home, truly home, for the first time in a long while. Her blind eyes couldn't see the new surroundings, but she could feel the quiet, the clean air, the sense of peace. "It's a nice place, my son," she whispered, her voice still a little weak but with a gentle smile gracing her lips. "I feel safe here." Those words were everything to me. They validated every difficult decision I had made. We spent the first few days just settling in, me guiding her, showing her where everything was, making sure she felt comfortable and secure. It was a slow, gentle process of rebuilding. While we found peace in our new home, the legal battle with Bola intensified. She refused to settle, dragging her feet, making every step difficult. Her lawyer, a notoriously aggressive one, started sending threatening letters, accusing me of abandonment, of financial mismanagement, of everything under the sun. It was exhausting, emotionally draining. Every day felt like a fight. My lawyer, Mr. Adebayo, assured me we had a strong case, especially with the police report I had filed about Mama's incident. But Bola was relentless. She wanted the house, she wanted alimony, she wanted to make my life as miserable as possible. "She's just trying to wear you down," Mr. Adebayo advised. "Don't give in. We have the truth on our side." I knew he was right, but sometimes, the weight of it all felt unbearable. I just wanted it to be over, to move on with Mama and build a new, peaceful life. Despite everything, Mama's spirit remained unbroken. She was a beacon of strength and serenity. Even though she couldn't see, she had an uncanny ability to sense my moods. "You are worried, my son," she would say, gently touching my arm. "Don't carry such a heavy heart. God is in control." Her words were like balm to my wounded soul. She started regaining her strength, slowly navigating the new apartment with my help, learning where everything was. She would hum old Yoruba hymns, her voice soft and melodious, filling our little apartment with a sense of peace that nothing else could. We'd sit together in the evenings, me reading the newspaper to her, describing the sights and sounds of the outside world, and her listening intently, sometimes offering a wise comment or a gentle laugh. Our bond grew even stronger, forged in the fires of adversity. She was my anchor, my reason for fighting so hard. The divorce proceedings were not only emotionally draining but also financially straining. Legal fees piled up, and I was still solely responsible for Mama's care and our new living expenses. My savings were depleting rapidly. I had to take on extra shifts at work, burning the candle at both ends. It was hard to juggle everything: work, caring for Mama, managing the legal battles, and trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy. There were days I felt utterly exhausted, wondering how much more I could take. "Are you eating enough, my son?" Mama would ask, sensing my fatigue. "You look tired." I would always reassure her, put on a brave face, but inside, I worried. I was determined to provide for her, to ensure her comfort and safety, no matter the cost. But the financial pressure was a constant, heavy weight on my shoulders. Just when I thought the divorce proceedings couldn't get any more complicated, Bola pulled an unexpected move. She claimed she was pregnant. My lawyer, Mr. Adebayo, was shocked. "Is this true?" he asked, his voice grave. "Because if it is, it significantly changes things." My mind reeled. Pregnant, with my child. It seemed impossible. We hadn't been intimate in weeks, not since that awful night. But what if? The thought sent a jolt of fear and confusion through me. Was this another one of her schemes? A desperate attempt to cling to the marriage and the house? I confronted her, over the phone again, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "Are you really pregnant, Bola?" "Of course, I am," she shrieked. "And it's yours. What are you going to do now, abandon your child too?" The accusation stung, but I knew I had to be careful. This was a serious claim. I instructed Mr. Adebayo to demand proof. This just added another layer of complexity and stress to an already overwhelming situation. Mr. Adebayo immediately advised me to demand a DNA test once the child was born, should the pregnancy prove real. He suspected it was a tactic, a desperate ploy. He also advised me to maintain minimal contact with Bola, only through him. "This is a common manipulation tactic in messy divorces," he explained, "especially when one party feels they are losing. We need to proceed with caution and ensure everything is legally verified." The uncertainty gnawed at me. Was I about to be a father again, under such terrible circumstances? Or was this just another layer of deceit from Bola? The thought of a child, innocent and blameless, caught in the middle of our bitter divorce, filled me with dread. I discussed it with Mama, carefully, not wanting to upset her. "Whatever God's will is, my son," she said, her voice calm, "you will do what is right. And a child is always a blessing, no matter how they come into the world." Her unwavering faith was a comfort, but the situation remained a huge source of anxiety. Amidst all the chaos, the legal battles, the financial strain, and the shock of Bola's pregnancy claim, I had moments of quiet reflection. I would often sit alone after Mama had gone to sleep, thinking about everything. My initial action: coming home unannounced, finding Mama, taking her to the hospital, and immediately filing for divorce, was driven by pure, unfiltered emotion, shock, anger, love for my mother. But looking back, was it the right thing to do? I knew, deep down, that abandoning Bola in the house and taking Mama to safety was the only choice I could have made in that moment. My mother's life was at stake. My loyalty was to her, first and foremost. Her well-being was paramount. The marriage, at that point, was already irrevocably broken by Bola's actions. There was no salvaging it. My actions were not driven by malice, but by protection and a profound sense of responsibility. I had to protect the one person who had always loved me unconditionally. This is where I need your advice, my YouTube family. My actions. Was it right or bad? On one hand, I protected my vulnerable, blind mother from a cruel act. I put her safety and well-being above everything else, including my failing marriage. I acted decisively, without hesitation, to remove her from a harmful situation. Is that not the definition of a good son? On the other hand, some might say I acted impulsively, that I should have tried to talk to Bola, to understand her side, to mediate. Did I abandon my wife too quickly? Should I have tried to make the marriage work, especially if there's a chance of a child? Am I being too harsh, too unforgiving? My extended family's whispers, Bola's accusations, they sometimes get to me. Did I make the right choices for everyone involved, or just for myself and Mama? This moral dilemma weighs heavily on me. Despite the ongoing battles and the moral questions, there are glimmers of hope. Mama is getting stronger every day, her laughter echoing in our little apartment. Our bond is unbreakable. She is thriving in this peaceful environment, and that is my greatest reward. The divorce proceedings are still ongoing, and the pregnancy claim is being investigated. I am prepared for whatever comes next. I am ready to be a father if indeed I am, and I will do everything to ensure that child's well-being, separate from the drama with Bola. My life has been irrevocably changed, but I believe I am emerging stronger, with a clearer understanding of loyalty, love, and resilience. It's not the life I planned, but it's a life I'm building with integrity and love for my mother. So, here I am, sharing my raw, unvarnished story with you, my YouTube family. I've laid it all out. The pain, the anger, the love, the choices, and the lingering questions. I need your honest, heartfelt advice. Given everything I've told you, do you think my actions were right or bad? What would you have done in my shoes? How should I navigate the ongoing legal battle, especially with Bola's pregnancy claim? How do I deal with the guilt, the doubts, and the judgment from others? Your perspectives, your wisdom, your experiences, they mean the world to me. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real, honest conversation about this. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and for helping me navigate this incredibly challenging chapter of my life. I'll be reading every single comment. So, that's my story, my journey through a storm I never saw coming. It's been tough, but through it all, I've learned so much about what truly matters: family, loyalty, and standing up for what's right. Now, I turn to you, my amazing community. I've shared my heart, and now I need your wisdom. What would you do in my situation? Was I right to prioritize my mother above all else, even if it meant the end of my marriage? Let's have an honest and open conversation in the comments below. Your thoughts and advice. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring African tales. Your support means the world, and it helps us continue sharing stories that touch hearts and change lives. Until next time, remember, love, faith, and courage are the greatest treasures you can ever have. Thank you, and God bless you all. Bye.